Friends, I am pleased to be with you all this night. Everyone wants to live a healthy life, wants to live a harmonious life, happy life, peaceful life. A healthy life, both at the physical level as well as the mental level. If someone wants to live a healthy life at the physical level, he has to be careful to take proper food, healthy food, which will keep him healthy, strong. And so also he has to take some physical exercises which will keep him strong, healthy. Similarly, to live a healthy life at the mental level, it is absolutely essential that you have a healthy mental diet and you have some good mental exercises to keep you healthy, strong, happy, peaceful. So far as the physical health is concerned, it is easy to take a particular diet which is advised by an expert on the subject, to have some physical exercises as guided by somebody. But when it comes to mind, it is very difficult. The diet is difficult, the healthy diet is difficult. Real good exercises for the mind to keep it healthy, also difficult. Because the mental structure is more complicated than the physical structure. For the mind the diet that you give for the mind is nothing external. It's all within you. The exercises that you take for the mind to make it healthy, also within you. And I would say, unless you are healthy at the mental level, however health you may gain at the physical level, which is very important, because one must be physically healthy to train the mind to become healthy, it's important. But however healthy one may be at the physical level, if one remains unhealthy at the mental level, this physical health will not last long. Mind and body are so very much interrelated. When your mind becomes unhealthy, it has its own effect, and a bad effect on the body too. Let us understand what we can do to keep the mind healthy. What diet? What is the healthy diet for the mind? Whatever you keep on generating at the mental level is the diet of the mind. When you generate anger, hatred, ill will, animosity, fear, passion, jealousy, all these defilements, any of these defilements when you generate in your mind, this is the input you are giving to the flow of the mind. The mind becomes unhealthy. You become miserable. You have no peace, no harmony. When you start generating love pure love without a trace of passion in it, pure love full of compassion, when you generate goodwill, when you generate equanimity, when you generate sympathetic joy, you find that your mind is becoming very peaceful, very healthy, very harmonious. This is a very healthy diet for the mind, but very difficult. Easy to understand it at the intellectual level, easy to accept it at the intellectual level, and also at emotional level, devotional level. But to actually practice it is very difficult. But the entire structure of the mind is full of defilements, negativities, and you want to generate some positive thoughts of love, compassion, goodwill. It will be just at the surface level. It won't work. Deep inside, at the unconscious level, at the half-conscious level, you keep on tying knots, because you keep on generating defilements which your conscious mind will not even know. It does not help. Something should be done which works up to the depth of the mind, not merely at the surface of the mind. And when you start working something at the depth of the mind, this becomes a mental exercise, a good mental exercise, which will eradicate your accumulated stock of defilements, negativities, like anger, hatred, ill will, animosity, passion, fear, jealousy, etc., etc. And once they start coming out, the law of nature is such that as the mind becomes purer and purer, it starts generating all positive thoughts. You won't have to make any efforts. By nature, a pure mind, an ultra-pure mind is full of love, full of compassion, full of sympathetic joy, full of equanimity. These are the basic characteristics of every pure mind. So as you start taking some exercises which purify your mind, this very exercise will become a healthy diet for your mind. And you will find that you are becoming healthier and healthier at the mental level. And when you become healthier and healthier at the mental level, you find it is affecting your body also. Your body becomes healthier and healthier. Now what exercises? There are many exercises. Many wise people in the past have dealt with this problem. When one becomes miserable, unhappy, always the cause behind this misery will be some defilement that one has started generating. One starts generating a defilement in the mind, one starts losing the peace, the harmony. One becomes sad, unhappy, miserable. This is law of nature, not applicable to any particular sect or a particular community, people belonging to a particular religion, particular belief, philosophy. It makes no difference. Anyone who generates anger is bound to become miserable. Anger and peace cannot go together. Impossible. When you call oneself a Christian or a Muslim or a Hindu or a Buddhist or a Jew, when you call oneself an American or a Russian or a Chinese or a Japanese or an Indian, makes no difference. Human being is human being. As soon as one starts generating any defilement in the mind, one is bound to become miserable. And as and when one comes out of this defilement, one comes out of the misery. Again, the law of nature, universal law of nature. Wise people started working on this, how to help people to come out of their misery. They keep on generating these defilements from time to time. Whenever an unwanted thing happens in the life, one becomes tense, One starts tying knots, starts generating negativities, becomes miserable. Whenever a wanted thing does not happen, again one starts tying knots, creates tensions, becomes unhappy. And throughout the life, unwanted things keep on happening. Wanted things may happen sometime, may not happen sometime. And you keep on tying knots upon knots upon knots. The entire mental structure, at the deepest level, is nothing but a bundle of knots, gorging knots, barbed knots, which keep you so unhappy. How to come out of it? Unwanted things will keep on happening in the life. Wanted things may not happen in the life. And you generate certain negativities in the mind. Then some of these wise people, they found out a way. Divert your attention. Whenever you start generating any anger, hatred, ill will, anything, divert your attention to something else. An example, you get up and drink a glass of water. Your mind is diverted, your anger will subside. You seem to come out of your misery. Or you just start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Your attention is diverted. Your anger will subside. Another solution was found on the same lines. Anyone who has got great devotion in any deity, any god, any goddess, any saintly person in whom you have got great faith, great devotion, start reciting his name. Whenever you have any negativity in the mind, start reciting his name. It becomes easy because you have got devotion, you have got faith that this god, this goddess, this deity, this saintly person will help you to come out of your misery. Start reciting the name mentally. Your mind is diverted. As you keep on reciting the name, your mind gets diverted and you find that you are coming out of that particular negativity. Similarly, a way was found that you close your eyes and start imagining the image of this particular deity, god, goddess, saintly person, in whom you have a great faith. Just imagine. You keep on imagining the form, the shape, the image of this person, and you will find your mind gets diverted. You are coming out of this particular defilement. A good solution was found which worked and is still working. It helps people. But then there were such enlightened persons in the past who went to the deepest level of the problem, exploring the truth to the ultimate level, the truth pertaining to the entire mental structure, not just the surface of it, the entire mental structure, the truth pertaining to the entire physical structure, and they experience something which is beyond mind and matter. For such enlightened persons, it was very clear that whenever you divert your attention to something else, you are not solving your problem. At the surface of the mind, at the conscious level, it will look as if you are out of misery because you are out of this particular defilement. But actually you have pushed down this defilement deep in the unconscious and half-conscious level, and it keeps on boiling there. It keeps on boiling. And time and again, it will again burst out like a volcanic eruption, and you are again overpowered by that misery. You are not out of it. A solution was found by such enlightened persons. Don't run away from the problem. Don't divert your attention to anything. Face it. Accept it. Just observe it. Whenever anger arises, do nothing. Just start observing anger as anger. Hatred arises, just observe hatred as hatred. Ill will as ill will. Passion as passion. Fear as fear. Any defilement that arises in the mind, just start observing it. You are not suppressing it. You are not giving it a free license at the physical level or vocal level which will harm other people. You are just observing. Observe it objectively and you will find layers after layers of this particular defilement which you have started generating gets peeled off, gets eradicated. And you are free from that particular defilement. That means you are free from the misery. Wonderful solution. But it is very difficult to practice. When any negativity arises, so quickly it overpowers you, it is so difficult for you to observe it. You are overwhelmed with that particular defilement which is the reason. There must be somebody to remind you, well look, you have become angry, now observe anger. Then one must have a private secretary with him. But the private secretary will give a duty for one shift, say 8 hours. And you have no arrangement with this anger that you should come only when my private secretary is on duty. It can come any time during 24 hours. So you must have 3 private secretaries for 3 shifts. And there are labor laws everywhere. You have to give staggering holidays to them. So you must have 4 private secretaries. How can anybody afford? Well, somebody is afforded, and always there is a private secretary, like a shadow. And there is a reason, you do any reason. And it is private secretary's duty to remind, look master, anger, anger. And the first thing I do, I slap him, you fool. It's anger. I am so overwhelmed with anger. All right, I have not slapped him. And I thanked him. Thank you. You reminded me. You were paid for this. Now as Buddha has said, or a enlightened person has said, now let me observe my anger. How will you observe anger? You close your eyes and you try to observe anger. There is no shape of anger. There is no image of anger. There is no color of anger. What you will observe? How will you observe? As soon as you close your eyes and try to observe anger, what will come in your mind is the immediate cause of the anger. So-and-so said like this. It so happened. It so happened. And when you start thinking all that, this is the stimulation of the anger. It will stimulate your anger will multiply, you can never come out of it. If you really want to observe anger, it should be abstract anger, abstract fear, abstract passion, which is nearly impossible. When something is nearly impossible, there is no solution. But when an enlightened person gives a solution, he gives a workable solution. Because anyone who reaches that stage, as I said, he has explored the reality pertaining to the mind and matter up to the ultimate level, so he understands everything about this mind-matter phenomenon, how it works. He gives a solution. He finds out that as and when any defilement arises on the mind, anger, hatred, ill will, passion, fear, anything, simultaneously at the physical level, 2 things start happening. One at little gross level, the other at little subtler level. At the gross level, your respiration, your breath will lose its normality. You will start breathing slightly hard, fast. As soon as you generate any impurity in the mind, your breath cannot remain normal. Something has happened at a very gross level, physical level. Another thing at a little subtle level. As soon as you generate any impurity in the mind, there is bound to be some biochemical reaction in the body, some electromagnetic reaction in the body. You are bound to have some sensation, maybe pulsation, maybe heat, maybe tension. Something will start at the physical level as a sensation. Well, it is very difficult to observe objectively abstract anger, abstract fear, abstract passion. But if you practice, even for a few days, it is very easy that you can observe your own respiration. You can observe the physical sensations that arise in the body from time to time, different types of sensations. And this is what is a solution which is practiced by thousands of people, not just today, but during the last 25 centuries, and it has worked. As soon as an impurity arises, if one has practiced to observe respiration, to observe sensation, it becomes so easy. Then this very respiration and this very sensation on the body become your private secretaries. They are with you all the time, 24 hours, throughout the life. As soon as something goes wrong at the mental level, you started generating a defilement. This secretary, the respiration, will start shouting, look, Master, there is something wrong. There is something wrong in your mind. I have become hard. I have become fast. These sensations on the body, they will start shouting, look, Master, something wrong. Very good private secretaries. And you can't slap them. You have to accept their advice. And another important thing, you start observing them. Start observing the respiration, you start observing the sensation that has arisen. And you are not diverting your mind anywhere, you are observing your problem. The same coin, one side of the coin is the defilement on the mind. The other side of the same coin is your respiration and the sensation on the body. When you start observing it, you are not suppressing it. You are not giving it a free license at the physical or vocal level, harming others. You are observing your respiration, you are observing your sensation, and you find how easily you come out of this misery. To learn that, people come to a meditation course of 10 days. Minimum 10 days is essential to learn this technique, how to observe respiration, how to observe sensation. There is no complication in the technique. Someone can just tell you now that whenever any problem comes, start observing respiration, start observing sensation. But to actually practice it, it is difficult. Whenever an impurity will come, it will overwhelm you. It will not be possible for you even to observe your respiration or sensation objectively. This is what people learn when they come to a course like this for 10 days. And because the whole technique is so universal, when you observe your respiration without any verbalization, without using any name, any mantra, then you not get involved in any sect, in any particular religion, in particular belief. It's universal. Similarly, when you start observing your sensation, it is universal. So anyone from any sect, from any community, from any religion, from any belief, makes no difference. One can easily work on this and come out of the misery. Because the melody is universal, the remedy has to be universal. When you become miserable, you become mentally sick because of anger, hatred, ill will, animosity, passion, fear, any kind of negativity, any kind of impurity. It is a universal disease. When you become angry, we can't give a label that now this is a Hindu anger, now this is a Buddhist anger, this is a Christian anger, or a Jew anger, or American anger, or Russian anger. Anger is anger. And the misery that you suffer because of that anger, again you cannot give it a label that this misery is a Christian misery, or this is a Buddhist misery, or American misery, or Indian misery. Misery. Whenever you generate any anger, you are bound to become miserable. It's a universal melody. The remedy has to be universal. When you start using any words, any mantra, when you start having any kind of imagination of any particular god, goddess, deity, you get involved in a particular sect. Everyone will not like to get involved in any particular sect. But if the remedy is universal, then anyone can practice. As my friend Steve said, this technique has appealed everyone. People from every walk of life, from every sect, from every community, even leaders of different sects, different religions, have been coming to these courses. Last 14 years, thousands of them. As he said, about 600 to 700 Christians priests and nuns have come because they found it is so helpful. So also Muslims have come, Buddhists have come, Jains have come, Hindus have come, people from every religion. The technique is not to convert people from one organized religion to another organized religion. The conversion is involved, no doubt. You get converted. You get converted from misery to happiness. You get converted from bondage to liberation. You get converted from impurity to purity and live a healthy life, a happy life, harmonious life, which is good for you, good for others. As and when you generate a defilement and become unhappy, miserable, you never keep this misery limited to yourself. You start throwing this misery on others. You start throwing this negativity in the entire atmosphere around you. You make the whole atmosphere so tense. Anybody who comes in contact with you at that time becomes miserable. You become miserable. You make others miserable. Certainly this is not an art of living. This technique teaches you an art of living. How to live. How to live peacefully and harmoniously within you. And how to generate peace and harmony in the atmosphere around you, so that anybody who comes in contact with you starts feeling peace and harmony and come out of the misery. This is workable for one and all. Because as I said, everyone wants to live a healthy life, a happy life, a harmonious life, a peaceful life. But one should know how to live a healthy life. As you go to a diet expert and learn from him what sort of diet is good for you to live a healthy life, so also the diet for the mind and the exercises for the mind you have to learn. And these 10 days are just to learn that. You come to a camp where you cut yourself off from all the outside world. This is very essential because the whole technique is nothing but an operation of your own mind. If you just start reciting a word or a mantra, or you start imagining some kind of shape or form, then you are dealing with the surface of the mind. You are giving a very good veneer, a very good layer at the surface of the mind. There is no problem. But by this technique, you are going to the depth of the mind, so you make a deep operation of the mind down to the unconscious level. When your body is operated, you are kept in a hospital. You are kept in the operation theatre. You can't have contact with outside people. Similarly, when you make an operation of your own mind, you have to cut yourself from all the outside world to learn this technique at the deepest level. For 10 days, you have to live the life of morality. What life of morality? At the physical or vocal level, you should not do anything which will harm other beings. Not because an enlightened person said so, not because a particular scripture says so, or not because your teacher will say so, but as you walk on the path, it will become so clear that the law of nature says so. Whenever you do anything which is harmful and which hurts other beings, any action that you take at the physical level or vocal level, you can't take such action without generating a negativity in the mind, without generating a defilement in the mind. And as soon as you start generating a defilement in the mind, you become a sick person, you become an unhealthy person, you become an unhappy person. So for your own good, you have to start with that. No such actions, physical, vocal, which will harm other beings. Like you abstain from killing, you abstain from stealing, you abstain from sexual misconduct. For these 10 days, you live a life of complete celibacy. You abstain from speaking lies. You abstain from taking any kind of intoxication. These 10 days, these 5 moral precepts are very essential. And then you start working, observing your respiration, observing your respiration. It's not a breathing exercise. You are not come there to control your mind by controlling your breath. The exercise is just to observe the breath as it is. If it is deep, it is deep. If it is shallow, it is shallow. If it is passing to left nostril, yes, passing to left nostril. Or passing to right nostril, yes, passing to right nostril. A silent observation. Don't try to change the natural flow of respiration. Unlike that, you learn for 3 days, mere respiration, your mind starts getting calmed down a little and you start feeling sensation around this area. Once you are able to feel sensation down this area, now you are fit to feel sensations throughout the body. So from the 4th day, another technique starts. You start observing sensations throughout the body. And you keep on working and you find that as you observe these sensations objectively, without liking them or disliking them, without having any hatred towards them or without having any craving or clinging towards them, you just observe objectively, you realize that they keep on arising and passing away, arising and passing away, and you realize that the entire physical structure, the entire mental structure keeps on arising and passing away, arising and passing away. Is it changing phenomenon? Constantly changing phenomenon, which you might have accepted at the intellectual level, you might have accepted at the devotional level, but you never experienced. By this technique you will start experiencing that the entire physical structure, the entire mental structure, constantly changing, constantly changing. You stop identifying yourself with these sensations. You come out of this madness of I, mine, You stop building up your ego. Ego starts getting dissolved. And you find how the defilements that you have accumulated in the past, they start coming up on the surface. You are equanimous, they pass away. They come on the surface, you are equanimous, they pass away. Layers after layers of your deep accumulated impurities of the mind, complexes of the mind, conditionings of the mind, they will all come one by one on the surface and they will pass away. And as much as they have passed away, as many as they have passed away, that much you are relieved. Because all these conditionings, all these complexes deep inside, they are source of your misery. You may find fault outside. You may keep on saying that I am miserable because of things happening outside. But when you start investigating the truth inside, you find the cause of your misery lies inside. And then you know a way by which you can root out this cause of misery. You can live a healthy life, harmonious life. Not that in 10 days you will come out of all your misery and you will become a perfect, healthy person at the mental level. But certainly you will grasp a technique, you will master a technique which you can use for the whole life. It's a lifetime job. You have to live a life of mental peace. You have to live a life of purity of the mind. And for that, one has to learn this technique coming to a course. You can come and give a trial. I feel myself very fortunate that 28 years ago, as Steve said just now, I got this wonderful technique from my teacher, who was not a monk. He was a householder like me, like anybody else. He was a very senior officer of the government of Burma. He was Accountant General of Burma. He was looking after all his family responsibilities, social responsibilities, and yet he developed in this technique to live a very healthy life, to live an ideal householder's life. I came in contact with him because I developed a particular type of disease which could not be cured anywhere. I visited many of these Western countries, including this country, the best doctors, and yet I could not come out of that. And a friend of mine, I'm so grateful to him, that he directed me to this saintly person. Why not try these 10 days and see? You might get benefited because your disease is psychosomatic. If the mind gets purified, certainly this disease will go away. I gave a try. And since then I found I was a changed person, like it was a new birth for me. Last 14 years I am distributing to people. I find people come to courses with so much of melancholy on their face, so sadness. On the 10th day when they go smiling, I feel so contented, so happy that somebody has worked and got this wonderful jewel. And I hope that they will continue to keep this jewel, make use of this technique, and live a happy life, harmonious life. And people quite a number of them, they continue to work and live a good life, a healthy life. After all, we require healthy human beings to have a good society. Someone says there must be peace around the world. Yes, there must be peace around the world. How can there be peace around the world if there is no peace in the minds of the human beings? There can be no peace in the society, there can be no peace in any country, there cannot be any peace in the world unless the human being becomes peaceful. The problem should be tackled at the level of each individual, at the mental level of each individual. When each individual starts living a peaceful life, it will affect the atmosphere around. The society starts living a peaceful life. The country starts living a peaceful life. The world starts living a peaceful life. Everyone has to learn how to live a good, healthy life. The whole technique is nothing but to make good human beings. When we continue to call oneself a Hindu or a Muslim or a Jain or a Christian, makes no difference. You must be a good human being. If one is not a good human being, how can he be a good Christian? How can he be a good Hindu? How can he be a good Muslim or a good Buddhist? The technique is nothing but an art of living, how to become a good human being. Live a healthy life, good for oneself, good for others. All of you are welcome to give a trial. Very fortunately, in your country, a center has been established in this very state, and regular courses are being given every month. You can stay 10 days. Everyone has got something to improve at the mental level. Nobody can say that I am so perfect, I don't want any improvement. Come and see how you can improve yourself and live a healthy life, a harmonious life, a peaceful life. May all suffering people come out of their misery and enjoy real happiness, real peace, real harmony. May all of you enjoy real peace, real happiness, real harmony. Yes.
This question is on a physical level. I have a friend who came to the center, the childrencourse, to meditate, to learn this technique, and she wanted to continue her diet there, macrobiotic diet. Would this be possible now at the center to accommodate this?
We are not against this kind of diet, but the trouble there is, in any center, people come there to give free service. Those who are helping there are also students who are benefited by this technique. They come to give service. And if you get a number of students who will require different kinds of food, it will become so difficult to prepare this kind of food. So the general rule is give them simple vegetarian food which will not harm their health. And then after learning this technique of the mental purity, they can continue. We are not against this diet. But unfortunately, we don't have that arrangement to give different diets to different people. Good. No more questions. That means everybody is satisfied. Be happy. Yes, go ahead.
How long after you began the technique did your medical problem disappear?
Well, I had a severe type of migraine, and I had to take morphia every fortnight. The attack will come. And my doctor said that you can't come out of this disease, you have to live with it. But the Western medical science might have taken some other kind of painkiller, you can come out of this morphia business. And they were more worried for that. So I came round here to come out of this morphia and get some other thing. I was not successful. This continued. But just after 10 days I found that either there was no attack, or even if there was attack, no morphia was necessary, meditation helped. I just meditated for a few minutes and I'm out of it. Actually, this migraine is nothing but a psychosomatic disease. The mind remains tense. You start developing all these symptoms of headaches and all that. Your mind gets relaxed. You're free from it.
I have a question.
Yes, yes.
Is it possible to practice some meditation here?
You see, as I said, this technique is not to deal the mind at the surface level. Otherwise, it would have been very easy. I will ask all of you sitting here, all right, observe your respiration. Along with that, keep on reciting a particular word. Your mind will get calmed down and you'll get a wonderful layer at the surface of the mind. You go very peaceful from this room. But this technique is a deep operation of the mind. And the operation has to be done in operation theatre, under the guidance of a good surgeon, experienced surgeon. Otherwise, something can go wrong. When you start making the operation, some very deep-rooted emotion might come on the surface, and it may try to overpower you, and there's nobody to guide you. It might harm. So for that, a 10 days course is very important. We want this to spread for the benefit of so many people. If it was so easy giving instructions in a meeting like this for 10 minutes or half an hour, it would make the work easier. But it is not workable, we have tried.
And also, there's no evening. You can't go and do it for an evening. You really have to do.
Can't help, because it is a continuous affair. For 10 days, you have to work continuously from morning 4:30 till night 9:30. There are breaks for your food or rest, but otherwise you keep on working this. Then only there is a deep operation. If you just come in the evening for about an hour or morning for about an hour, again you deal at the surface of the mind. You can continue to do that for a year even. You will never make a deep operation.
Once people have done that, then.
Oh, then it's not necessary. Then they are their own masters. In this technique, there is no gurudom, that you must depend on a guru and he will only do something for you. Nothing. The guru, the teacher, just shows the path. Once you learn this technique, morning and evening, you continue and make use of it for the whole life. But one 10-day course is very essential.
Why is it 10 days, do you think?
Well, because people can't spare more time. Otherwise, I would have asked them to come for 1.5 months. That is the proper period to make a very deep operation. Less than that, people do not get anything. You try.
Yeah. 1 week.
If you reduce it for 1 week, it doesn't work.
I'm just curious, because 10 days is, as macrobiotic people feel, it's the time when the blood quality changes.
Good. Then it works both ways. It works both ways. Let 10 days be a good period. Work on it. Yes. It will be allowed for? Again, the same difficulty. You may carry your own food. But then once somebody starts taking one type of food, we can't stop others who might bring some food which is harmful for this meditation. And we can't have inspectors there to keep on inspecting food of everybody. It becomes so difficult. It's not practical. That is why we say for 10 days, not that we are in any way against this kind of food, but for 10 days, work with the simple food, whatever you get there. You can choose out of that whatever is suitable to you. Not that whatever food is given, everything you have to take. Out of that, choose something which is suitable. Work on 10 days, and after that, you will carry on your diet.
What type of food is harmful?
Like somebody starts taking any meat, fish, or very spicy food, these kind of food will give more stimulation to the mind, and you can't make it a good operation. So a simple vegetarian food is very helpful. No, that is also, we don't go to extremes. Overeating is prohibited, and so also total fasting is prohibited. A middle part, you have to take less food than you take normally, because whole day you are just sitting, no physical work to do. So less food, but no fasting. You don't have walking meditation?
Vipassana practice.
No. There is no such thing as walking meditation. It just somehow, I don't know, it started. You have to be aware. You have to be aware of everything that you do, whether you are walking or eating or doing anything. You have to be aware, not merely while you are walking. You are not supposed to be aware only of walking. You are supposed to be aware of your sensation.
Yes.
Because the problem is with the sensation. So even while you are sitting for 1 hour and then you feel like going out for 5 minutes, yes, you walk normally. Don't you start walking slow like this. You walk normally and you are aware that you are walking. Along with that, you are aware of your sensations, of respiration.
I asked because that the International Meditation Society, the 3 months practice.
Well, you ask those people rather than me. I can only give answer to what I am teaching.
I thought that was a form.
Now, there are so many different techniques. We are not here to condemn other techniques or other teachers. We are here to tell whatever we teach and whatever we find is helpful to us and unto others. Good. Be happy. There's no questions. Be happy.
I don't know if all of you have gotten information on where courses are available, so I think there's more information in the back of the room. I should also say that the courses are not run on a fee basis at all. When you go, you're provided for to purify your mind through donations given by previous people who have done it and have felt benefit from it and would like to see other people along the way. I just think that I should mention that as well. And the food is simple vegetarian food. I don't think macromonica would have any trouble with simple vegetarian food. It's